you're just going to put your foot and move it in a clockwise position. So you're just going to move and balance until you get to back cross, which is the most challenging. And then hi, my name is Sensei Sarah, and in this Shotokan short video, we're going to be talking about balance. So we're going to start off talking about the elements of balance, and then we're going to go over some basic balance exercises, moving you from the point where you can't stand on one foot all the way to some advanced applied to martial arts exercises. So first of all, we're going to talk about some elements of balance. The first element is strength. In order to balance, you need the muscles to be strong enough to hold you, and so you want to do some work to develop the strength. And when I talk about the exercises, I'll talk about that a little bit. The next thing is proprioception, which sounds like a big word, but basically all it means is that your mind can connect to your body and have an idea of where it is in space. Now, proprioception is really important. It's what you develop as you start as a baby, from rolling to crawling to walking. That is a development of proprioception, as well as muscles and things like that. But what can happen as you age is you start to lose that proprioception as your body ages. You have knee problems, hip problems, different mobility issues. Your muscles don't know how to compensate, and therefore you have difficulty knowing where you are in space. This affects balance because if your body can't adapt to changes easily by recognizing the movement, and it can't adapt, it can't fire the right muscles in order to compensate for that, then you start to lose your balance. Now you start having more trip issues, you can become a fall risk over time. And so balance is just a good thing to work on in general, but of course it certainly is something very important to martial arts. It applies a lot in our kicking. And then the third thing is this connection of body, which is the strength, and mind, which is the proprioception, to develop muscle memory over time. So we do our proprioceptive exercises, or our balance exercises. Over time, our body automatically compensates whenever we lift our foot, try to stand on one foot, and then we advance that, moving the leg or whatever it is further and further from the center point of gravity. So if you can't even stand on one foot, that's no problem. What you can do is you can have an object or a wall, and what I want you to do is put your hand on that object. This is just to help hold you up. So if you fall, you have something to fall into, and also it helps to build confidence to know that you're not just going to fall on your face. Nobody likes to fall on their face, right? So what I don't want you to do if you have to use an object is lean into the object and let the object hold a lot of your weight. So basically what happens then is your object becomes like your second leg. So even though you're raised up, if you lean into your object, you might as well just be standing on two legs. So we're just going to place our hand. We're going to keep our body upright. What we're going to start with is just some static balance exercises, meaning you're basically stationary, standing in place. And you're going to start simply by keeping the leg close into the center of gravity. So the further from your center of gravity you get, the harder it is. So all of us have our center of gravity about here at our belly button. So we're just standing like this, and if you need to use your bag, you use your bag. This is basically a beginner balance exercise. So we want to work this until we can hold this for 30 seconds at least, up to a minute or more. And then what we do is we progress to moving the leg further out from the center of gravity. And the further out we get, the harder this exercise gets. So what I don't want you to do is, in particular, as your leg starts to get all the way out like this, a lot of people will go back into that leaning. So we want to make sure that we're still upright. So as you begin to master those exercises, then you can start to move away from the bag. So as you move away from the bag, you're going to go through the same sequence. You're going to keep the center of gravity close, starting with just a basic leg raise. Once you can do that from 30 seconds to a minute, we're going to move it out, and then eventually move it out. And not only is that going to improve your balance, it's all those three elements. It's the strength, the proprioception, and then the muscle memory from doing it over and over again that we're going to be working on every time we do one of these exercises. And then, of course, as always, make sure that you're doing right and left because we want to stay balanced. And by that use of the word balance, I mean that we want to develop that strength and proprioception for both sides of the body, both sides of the brain. Okay? Once you've mastered the static balance exercises, you can add a little bit dynamic. So, and this first part actually you can do as a static exercise, but you're just going to put your foot and move it in a clockwise position. So you're just going to move and balance until you get to back cross, which is the most challenging. And then, so your right foot moves clockwise, your left foot's going to do the same thing, moving counterclockwise. When that becomes easy and you can hold things, especially that back cross, for a little bit, then you can do what I call the ABC drill, which is essentially the same thing, except at each point, rather than just holding it, now you're going to add a little bit of movement, which your body's going to have to compensate for by just simply writing A, B, C with your foot at each point. So write ABC, move it over, write ABC, move it over, and so on, all the way to the back cross, which again is pretty challenging, A, B, C. Okay, once you get those down, then you can move to even more dynamic. And here's a movement, or not a movement, but an exercise that you can actually apply specifically to martial arts, and that's going to be lock kicks. So when we do lock kicks, you can do any of your basic Shotokan kicks or whatever martial art that you study, whatever kicks that you have. You can do your front kicks, your side kicks, your back kicks, your roundhouses. The key here is going to be, rather than just simply snapping the kick out and back in, what we're going to do is kick out, lock, and then bring it back in very slowly and controlled. So for example, if I get to do that with my Geri Kyagi or front snap kick, I'm going to snap out, lock, bring it back. Snap out, lock, bring it back. You could do the same thing, like I said, with Mawashi. Snap round, lock, bring it back, snap round, lock, bring it back. As that becomes easier, you can progress to holding the kick out for longer. So again, let's go back to my Geri Kyagi. Snap out, hold, 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 lock, bring it back. Snap out, hold, 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 lock, bring it back. So the balance game, like anything else, can be scaled down to the point where you're using an object in order to do these balance exercises, all the way up to holding your legs out for extended periods of time. And then, of course, there is upper body balancing as well, but we're focusing on how this applies to Shotokan, karate, or another martial art. And so I hope you learned something. I hope you enjoyed this video. I will see you guys next time.